Right, there's a new musical version of Shakespeare's comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, being put out on by Fuse Theatre.
And the incredible thing is, the students in this show have rehearsed and they're performing virtually, little twists on a classic. So joining us now are the show's director, Lara Morton, and Sylvia Sonenstein, one of the actors. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having us.
All right, so you guys, the pandemic, I know you guys you were working on The Lion King, right? And then that got squashed by the pandemic and you couldn't show it because of all the licensing, is that right?
Yes, so we started this company a little less than 2 years ago, and our inaugural production was to be The Lion King Jr., which Sylvia was portraying Nala in, and we were to open March 20th to 5 sold-out houses.
Oh.
And you can imagine the disappointment in the entire company, and particularly the 30 youth actors that were involved who were so invested. And we couldn't just let it go. We wanted some closure for them, especially the ones that had never done theater before.
Right.
So we created like a movie version of it, basically for the families, but we couldn't show it to anyone because of licensing restrictions.
Which is so awful. We're so sorry to hear that.
But you know,
us too.
Sometimes something great happens, and that's what happened here, because you're doing A Midsummer Night's Dream, the rewired musical. So I think sometimes if you try to say Shakespeare to today's kids, or any kids really, I'm like, but you took this classic piece, you set it in modern day pandemic, and people are learning, and it's interesting.
Yeah, we think so. We decided after the Lion King experience that we wanted to try this again with what we'd learned, but we wanted to do something that didn't have licensing restrictions. And of course, Shakespeare, for those that don't know, is in the public domain, which means anyone can do it anytime. You don't have to worry about legalities. So that said, doing Shakespeare virtually, we thought, well, we need to do something that's going to make it different, that's going to make it stand out. So we decided to turn it into a musical. And it is very faithful to the original. For anyone's like, oh no, you can't mess with Shakespeare. It is extremely faithful. We haven't changed any words, but we have hired a composer, Lydia Arachne, who is a local composer here in Connecticut. She has a band, Semaphora, and she's an incredible virtuoso who plays almost 20 instruments, writes all of her own music, records her own music, mixes her music, engineers it all. And I was like, I don't know anyone but Lydia that could do this. And she has done an incredible job. And I think that people are going to be really surprised by this project. And maybe Sylvia could talk a little bit as an actor about performing this music that was written for her voice, first of all, which is something that most youth actors don't get that experience. So Sylvia, do you want to talk a little bit about what it was like to perform Lydia's original music?
Yeah, sure. It was fantastic. First off, Lydia is so talented, and I worked with her in Lion King, and I was a little bit like, ooh, on the music in Lion King, like it's beautiful music, but as an actor, I was not completely confident in that music. But Lydia worked with me, and she was able to like morph the music and like change the key to my voice, and that was amazing. And I was like, okay, great, it's going to be like a similar thing. We'll probably stick with like the same key. But when she gave me the song, she wrote it like right where I needed it to be, and I've never experienced anything like that. And taking Shakespeare sonnets and monologues and turning them into songs was something that I never thought would interest me, or never thought that I would be able to portray in a way that would actually work. But the way that she's written it, for every actor, not just me, she's written it perfectly to their voice, and it is so amazing to see and to get to do, and I'm so excited about it.
All right, so where do we go to watch? Where do we go to watch?
All right, so you would need to go to our website, which is www.fusetheaterct.org, and that is theater with an R-E, CT.org. And you can purchase tickets right there. The lowest ticket level is $10 for students, seniors, essential workers, arts workers, anyone who has been economically, affected by the pandemic. We wanted to make sure they could see it too. And then you could do, for the full household, $25. So, and then $15 for an individual.
Well, terrific.
Yeah, something great to do. You can share it with the world as of Friday, May 21st at 7 p.m. So gather the whole family around and watch something interesting and live instead of just streaming the same old, same old.
Yes. we think that youth audiences are really going to respond to this, particularly the way we're telling the story, which is through today's, apps that everyone communicates through and has relied on since the start of the pandemic. We actually set the show in summer 2020 using apps like TikTok and Zoom and YouTube and Instagram. Everything is told through screens, and our fairies live inside the internet. So
I love it.
It's a really unique production. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you
so
cool.
much for your time. We both appreciate you coming on the show.
For more information,
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. For more information, visit fusetheater.com.
FuseTheaterCT.org.
FuseTheaterCT.org. Okay. Yeah.